In a small town on Earth, life was simple and joyful. Children played in parks, laughter filled the air, and families enjoyed their time together. On sunny days, kids would ride their bicycles while parents watched and smiled. This peaceful world was home to countless dreams and hopes. Everyone believed in a bright future. Among the many children, there was a little girl named Lily. She was 6 years old, with bright blue eyes and golden hair that danced in the wind. Lily loved to explore the woods near her home, imagining herself as a brave adventurer. Every day after school, she would run into the woods, collecting colorful leaves and shiny rocks. Her laughter echoed through the trees, bringing joy to all who heard it. But one fateful afternoon, everything changed. As Lily played in the woods, a dark shadow loomed over the town. A group of aliens, known as the Xandarians, descended from the sky in their massive ships. They were powerful and ruthless, seeking to conquer and control. With their sharp weapons and cold hearts, they wanted to spread fear and chaos. Lily, unaware of the danger, continued her adventure, chasing butterflies and gathering treasures from the forest floor. Suddenly, the peaceful atmosphere shattered as the Xandarian ships landed nearby. The ground shook beneath her tiny feet. She looked up, her heart racing, as the aliens emerged from their ships. The aliens were tall and frightening, with green skin and glowing red eyes. They roared loudly, causing fear to spread among the townspeople. Adults rushed to their homes, locking doors and windows, trying to hide from the terrifying creatures. But it was too late. The aliens had come to take what they wanted, and they showed no mercy. Lily froze in fear as she watched the chaos unfold. The Xandarians shouted and charged toward the town, their weapons raised. In a moment of panic, she turned to run back home. But before she could escape, a Xandarian soldier spotted her. With a cruel grin, he raised his weapon and fired. A blinding light filled the air, followed by a deafening sound. The townspeople heard the explosion and turned in horror. They rushed to the scene only to find Lily lying on the ground, lifeless and still. A wave of grief washed over the community as they realized what had happened. The laughter of children had turned into cries of sorrow. News of Lily's murder spread like wildfire. People gathered in the town square, tears streaming down their faces. Mothers clutched their children, and fathers clenched their fists in anger. Everyone was heartbroken. How could anyone be so cruel? Lily had been just a child, full of life and love. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the town, a sense of determination began to rise among the grieving people. They knew they could not let this act of violence go unanswered. Leaders of the community came together, united by their shared grief and anger. They held a meeting to discuss their next steps, knowing that the time for action had come. "Lily's death will not be in vain," one leader shouted, his voice strong. "We must protect our children and our home from these monsters." The crowd erupted in agreement, voices rising in a chorus of determination. The people of Earth had always valued their freedom and safety, and they would fight to defend it. The murder of an innocent child would spark a fire within them, igniting a passion to stand against the threat of the Xandarians. In the days that followed, the town transformed. Instead of despair, there was a sense of purpose. People began to train and prepare for a fight. They spoke of the ultimate fleet, a powerful military force hidden away, waiting for the moment it was needed. Earth's leaders decided it was time to awaken this force. As the townspeople joined together, they vowed to honor Lily's memory. They promised to protect their world and seek justice for the child who had been taken from them. The peaceful days of their lives were gone, but a new chapter was beginning, one where Earth would stand united against the darkness threatening to consume them. Lily may have been gone, but her spirit lived on in the hearts of those who loved her. They were ready to strike back. In the wake of Lily's tragic death, the small town transformed into a center of determination. Grief hung in the air, but it was mixed with a growing fire of resolve. People were tired of feeling weak and afraid. They wanted to fight back, to protect their loved ones and avenge the innocent life that had been taken from them. As the news spread beyond the town, the leaders of Earth gathered in a secure location. They knew they needed to act quickly. The Xandarians were powerful, and they would not stop after one attack. The world had to be ready for war. A meeting was called, and leaders from different nations came together, all united by their shared pain and anger. "Lily's death cannot go unanswered," the president of the United Earth Council declared, his voice strong and firm. We have a hidden power that we can unleash, the ultimate fleet. It is time to awaken our greatest weapon and show the Xandarians that we will not back down." The room buzzed with excitement and fear. The ultimate fleet was a legendary force, created many years ago to protect Earth from threats. However, it had been kept secret, hidden away in underground facilities. Only a few knew of its existence, and even fewer understood its full power. "Are we sure we can control it?" one leader asked, his brow furrowed with concern. "What if it is too much for us?" "Now is not the time for doubt," another leader replied. "If we do not act now, we risk losing everything. We must stand together and protect our home." With a renewed sense of purpose, the leaders decided to awaken the ultimate fleet. They knew it would not be easy, but the thought of facing the Xandarians without it filled them with dread. The fleet consisted of advanced ships equipped with powerful weapons and technology that no alien force could match. The plan was set in motion. Teams of scientists, engineers, and soldiers were quickly assembled. They worked day and night to prepare the fleet for battle. The underground facilities bustled with activity as people moved quickly, fueled by adrenaline and determination. Meanwhile, in a hidden base deep beneath the Earth's surface, the ultimate fleet lay dormant. Massive hangars housed sleek ships, each one a masterpiece of technology. They were designed to fly faster than the speed of light and equipped with weapons that could destroy entire alien fleets. As the workers arrived, they could feel the anticipation in the air. The fate of Earth rested on their shoulders. "Let's get to work," a young engineer shouted, rallying the team. "We need to check every system and make sure these ships are ready for battle." The workers moved swiftly, checking systems and repairing equipment. They could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on them. This fleet was not just a collection of ships, it represented hope for the future. As days turned into weeks, the fleet began to take shape. Soldiers trained hard, learning how to operate the advanced ships and use their weapons. The scientists tested new technologies, ensuring everything was ready for the inevitable clash with the Xandarians. During this time, the memory of Lily fueled their efforts. Posters of her smiling face hung in the halls of the base, reminding everyone why they were fighting. Each worker, each soldier, felt her presence, giving them strength. Finally, the day arrived when the ultimate fleet was ready for action. The leaders gathered once more, standing before the massive ships that would soon take to the stars. The president stepped forward, his heart pounding with pride and determination. "Today we show the Xandarians that we will not be broken. We fight for our children, our families, and our home. The ultimate fleet will rise and defend Earth." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the hangar. The soldiers, engineers, and scientists felt a surge of hope. They were no longer just ordinary people. They were warriors ready to face a common enemy. As the fleet prepared for launch, everyone knew that this was only the beginning. They were stepping into the unknown, but their hearts burned with courage. They would take to the stars, fighting not just for Lily, but for every child, every family, and for the future of Earth. The battle against the Xandarians was about to begin, and they would be ready. The day had finally come. The ultimate fleet, Earth's greatest hope, stood ready to take to the skies. Soldiers, engineers, and leaders gathered at the launch site, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. They had trained hard, prepared for this moment, and now the time for action had arrived. As the sun began to rise, the massive doors of the hangar opened, revealing sleek ships lined up in rows. Each vessel was a symbol of humanity's strength and determination. The soldiers climbed aboard their ships, buckling into their seats and checking their equipment. Commanders shouted final orders, ensuring everyone was ready for what lay ahead. "Listen up!" one commander yelled over the sound of engines humming to life. "We are fighting for our families and for the memory of Lily. This is our chance to show the Xandarians that we are not afraid." The soldiers cheered, their spirits high. They knew this battle would be tough, but they were united in purpose. As the last of the crew members boarded, the ships lifted off the ground, soaring into the sky like majestic birds. Once they reached space, the fleet spread out, forming a formation that displayed their strength. The blue and green planet of Earth shone below them, a beautiful sight that reminded everyone of what they were fighting to protect. But danger loomed ahead. The Xandarians were out there, and they had to find them first. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the fleet. The screens lit up with red warning lights as the radar detected incoming Xandarian ships. Panic surged through the soldiers, but their training kicked in. "Prepare for battle!" the lead commander shouted. "Stay focused and follow my orders." As the Xandarian ships emerged from the shadows, they looked terrifying. The aliens flew massive vessels with sharp edges and dark colors, each one armed with powerful weapons. The humans gritted their teeth, determination flooding their hearts. They could not show fear now. "Engage!" the commander barked. The first shots rang out, filling space with bright flashes of light. The ultimate fleet fired their weapons, sending bursts of energy toward the approaching enemy. Explosions erupted in the vacuum of space as the two forces clashed. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Ships zoomed around, dodging incoming fire while returning shots of their own. The Xandarians were relentless, attacking with speed and precision. But the humans fought back bravely, their hearts burning with the desire to protect their home. In the midst of the chaos, one young pilot named Alex found himself face-to-face with an enemy ship. His hands trembled on the controls as he remembered the training he had undergone. "I can do this," he whispered to himself, focusing on the target ahead. With a deep breath, Alex steered his ship toward the Xandarian vessel, firing his weapons. He watched as his shots hit their mark, causing the alien ship to explode in a dazzling display of colors. A rush of adrenaline surged through him. He had just avenged a small part of the pain they all felt. But the victory was short-lived. More Xandarian ships appeared surrounding the fleet. The humans were outnumbered, and they could feel the pressure building. The commanders called for a retreat, knowing they needed to regroup. "Fall back!" the lead commander ordered, trying to keep calm. "We need to regroup and rethink our strategy." The fleet began to pull back, maneuvering through the chaos of the battle. But as they retreated, they could hear the Xandarians roaring in victory, chasing them relentlessly. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, the Ultimate Fleet's advanced technology kicked in. The ships deployed a cloaking system, disappearing from the Xandarians' view. The aliens searched frantically, but the humans had evaded them, hiding among the stars. As they regrouped and caught their breath, the soldiers knew this battle had been only the beginning. They had faced the Xandarians head-on and had tasted victory, but they also understood the challenges ahead. The first battle was over, but the war had just begun. The soldiers looked at each other, a mix of determination and fear in their eyes. They had taken the first step in a long journey, fighting not just for revenge, but for the future of Earth. With their spirits high and hearts united, they prepared to face whatever came next. The memory of Lily and the hope of protecting their planet fueled their resolve. They were ready to strike back again, stronger than ever before. After the chaos of the first battle, the Ultimate Fleet regrouped in a secure location deep in space. The mood among the soldiers was a mix of relief and anxiety. They had survived the initial encounter with the Xandarians, but questions lingered in their minds. Who were these aliens? Why had they targeted Earth? As the ships hovered in the silence of space, the commanders gathered in the main control room. They needed answers. A large screen lit up with data and images collected during the battle. Soldiers sat at their stations, their eyes fixed on the screen as the information scrolled by. "We need to analyze what we've learned," Commander Sarah said, her voice steady and calm. She pointed to the screen, where a detailed image of a Xandarian ship appeared. "These ships are not just advanced, they are built for warfare. But we need to understand their strategy if we are going to defeat them." A young analyst named Jenna tapped her tablet and began sharing her findings. "I've been studying their movements during the battle. They are fast and coordinated, but they also seem to rely on numbers. They attack in groups, trying to overwhelm us. If we can separate them, we might have a chance." The room buzzed with ideas as the leaders discussed their next move. The more they understood their enemy, the better prepared they would be for the next battle. But just as they were making progress, an urgent alarm sounded throughout the control room. "Commander, we have incoming signals," one soldier shouted, pointing to the screen. The faces of Xandarian leaders appeared, their green skin and sharp features filling the screen. It was a bold move, but they were ready to deliver a message. "Humans!" one of the Xandarians sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "You have shown bravery, but it is foolish. You are weak and your pathetic fleet will be destroyed. We will take your planet and your resources. You cannot stop us!" The tension in the room grew thick as the Xandarians continued to taunt them. Commander Sarah stepped forward, her eyes fierce. "You think you can just take our home? We will fight for Earth until the end." The Xandarians laughed, their voices echoing through the speakers. "You do not understand the power of the Xandarian Empire. We will crush your kind and take everything that belongs to us." With that, the communication ended abruptly. The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances, feeling the weight of the threat. The Xandarians were not just attackers, they were part of a larger empire, one that had likely taken many worlds before. This battle was about more than revenge, it was about survival. In the days that followed, the crew worked tirelessly to prepare for the next encounter. They studied every detail of the Xandarian ships, creating new strategies to counter their tactics. The scientists developed new weapons and technology, ensuring they would have an advantage in the next battle. Meanwhile, Alex, the young pilot from the first battle, felt the pressure weighing heavily on him. He couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to prove himself, not just to his fellow soldiers, but to himself. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Lily's face, a reminder of why they were fighting. As the fleet continued to gather intelligence, they discovered something shocking. The Xandarians had a central command ship, a massive vessel that controlled the other ships during battles. If they could take down this command ship, they might disrupt the entire Xandarian fleet. The news spread quickly among the soldiers. Hope sparked in their hearts. "If we can get to the command ship, we could turn the tide of this war," Jenna exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. Commander Sarah nodded, her expression determined. "Then that will be our next target. We will take the fight to them, and we will not hold back." With a new plan in place, the Ultimate Fleet prepared for battle once again. They knew the risks, but they also knew that they had to stand together. Each soldier, each pilot felt the weight of responsibility on their shoulders, but they were united in purpose. As they gathered for their final briefing before the next encounter, the room filled with determination. They would not back down. They were fighting for their planet, for their families, and for the memory of Lily. The Xandarians may have revealed themselves as fierce enemies, but Earth's ultimate fleet was ready to rise and fight back. The battle was far from over, and as they looked out into the endless stars, hope flickered like a beacon in the dark. They would face whatever came next, together. The time had come. The Ultimate Fleet gathered at their new base, hidden in a nebula, shrouded in swirling colors and gas. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and tension as the soldiers prepared for the final battle against the Xandarian Empire. They had a plan, and this time they were ready. Commander Sarah stood at the front, her eyes scanning the faces of her crew. "Today, we fight not just for our planet, but for our people. We have trained for this moment, and we know what is at stake. We will take down the Xandarian command ship, and in doing so, we will disrupt their entire fleet. Remember, we fight together, and we will win." The soldiers cheered, their spirits high. They had faced fear and loss, but now they felt united in purpose. They climbed aboard their ships, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Each pilot settled into their seat, tightening their harness and checking their weapons. They were determined to make this count. As they launched into space, the Ultimate Fleet moved in formation, heading straight for the heart of the Xandarian fleet. The command ship loomed ahead, a dark and imposing figure surrounded by smaller vessels. The Xandarians had prepared for their approach, but the humans had a few surprises of their own. "Stealth mode engaged!" Jenna, the analyst, called out. The fleet activated their cloaking technology, rendering them invisible to the enemy's radar. The Xandarians were oblivious as the humans drew closer, a plan forming in their minds. "On my mark," Commander Sarah instructed. "We will drop the cloak and engage them head-on." The tension in the cockpits grew. Alex gripped the controls, sweat dripping down his forehead. He could see the command ship now, massive and powerful, surrounded by swirling Xandarian fighters. His heart raced as he thought of the battle ahead. 3, 2, 1. "Now!" Sarah shouted. The cloaking devices shut down, and the ships burst into view, bright and determined. Alarms blared on the Xandarian ships, but it was too late. The humans opened fire, beams of energy shooting toward the enemy. The first wave of attacks hit hard, taking out several smaller Xandarian vessels. The humans cheered as they gained momentum, but the Xandarians quickly regrouped. They retaliated with fierce firepower, the sky lighting up with explosions. "Stay focused," Sarah yelled into the comms. "Target the command ship! That is our main objective!" The Ultimate Fleet surged forward, dodging incoming fire as they fought their way through the chaos. Alex maneuvered his ship skillfully, weaving between enemy vessels while firing his weapons. His confidence grew with each successful hit. But the Xandarians were relentless. They fought back with speed and strength, and the humans found themselves in a brutal battle. The sound of explosions echoed through the comms, and the reality of war set in. Friends were falling, but they could not give up. "Push forward," Sarah commanded. "We are close to the command ship." As they neared their target, they could see the massive structure, armed and ready to defend itself. It loomed like a fortress, surrounded by a shield that glimmered in the darkness of space. The humans knew they had to break through. "Use the EMP blasts," Jenna shouted. "We can disable their shield." With a shared look of determination, the pilots prepared their EMP weapons. They unleashed a powerful wave of energy toward the command ship. The shield flickered and then collapsed, leaving the Xandarians vulnerable. "Now! Attack!" Sarah yelled. The ultimate fleet surged forward, firing everything they had. The command ship shook under the assault, and the Xandarians scrambled to regain control. But the humans pressed on, determined to finish what they had started. As the command ship took hit after hit, it finally began to break apart. The soldiers cheered as they witnessed the enemy's power crumbling. But their victory was short-lived. The remaining Xandarian fighters were angry and desperate. "Stay sharp," Sarah warned. "Don't let them regroup." In a final push, the ultimate fleet fought with all their might, taking down the last of the Xandarian fighters. The command ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, sending shock waves through space. As the dust settled, the silence of victory filled the air. The remaining Xandarian ships fled, retreating into the darkness. The humans had triumphed, but the cost weighed heavily on their hearts. They had lost friends and faced fear, but they had fought for Earth and each other. "Victory!" Sarah shouted, tears of relief streaming down her face. The crew erupted in cheers, their hearts filled with pride and sorrow. They had avenged Lily and shown the galaxy that humanity would not be easily defeated. As they returned to Earth, the soldiers knew that their journey was far from over. They had survived a battle that would be remembered for generations. Together they would heal, rebuild, and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. In that moment, they were not just soldiers, they were heroes. And Earth was safe once again.